The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 133. 3 signs you're a Last Supper eater. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show, or welcome to the JoLynn Braley Show if this is your first time tuning in. I am JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Empowering the Kick-Ass Inner Self Diet. That is the diet that's not a diet. That is my proven step-by-step system, which leads you out of the struggle with binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating, low self-esteem, low self-confidence, constant self-doubts, whatever the problems are that are keeping you stuck, frustrated, overweight, fed up. My proven step-by-step system, the Inner Self Diet, leads you out of that struggle, sets you free in 8 weeks or less. That is my proven coaching system, which I have been coaching amazing clients through since 2009. I actually work personally with my clients to help them accomplish their goal of freedom. And it's really, really cool. Hey, if you have never tuned in before, if you've never heard of me before, I have a free download which you can grab, and in it you will get 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. You can get that now at www.easyfunweightloss.com. Go to www.easyfunweightloss.com to get that now. All right, so today is episode number 133 of the JoLynn Braley Show, and this is actually part 2 of a 3-part series that I am doing on the topic of Last Supper eating. So if you would like to, after you listen to today's episode, you can go back and listen to episode 132, which is the first part of this 3-part series, and then next week tune in for episode number 134, when I will be wrapping up this 3-part series on Last Supper eating. Yay! All right, so today the topic is 3 signs you're a Last Supper eater. Now, before I give you these 3 signs, first let's just take a look at why is it important to even look at this? Why would you want to know if you're a Last Supper eater? Well, here is the basic bottom line reason to find out if you might be a Last Supper eater, and that is just the basic bottom line fact that all change is preceded by awareness. And simply what that means is you cannot change anything that you're not aware of. All right. And I've had a lot of coaching clients since I've been professionally coaching since 2009. I've had a lot of coaching clients who are what you would call mindless eaters. And mindless eating, that's where you mindlessly eat. You're not consciously setting out to stuff yourself with food, but it's such a subconscious pattern that you've been in for 10, 20, 30, 40 or more years that your brain makes it really, really easy for you to just keep doing that. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter that you're super smart and successful professionally, because clearly if you could have solved these problems and broken free all on your own just by using your logical thinking that has gotten you success professionally, well, if that could have set you free, then it would have done it a long, long, long time ago, right? You wouldn't have been struggling for 30, 40 or more years with these problems. Are you following me? Is this making sense? So you could stop telling yourself, you could stop calling yourself names and telling yourself you're stupid or something like that, because it's not about intelligence. These overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, food addiction, comfort eating, mindless eating, compulsive overeating, these problems, they're not a logical problem that you can solve. Otherwise, you would have already done it because you're super smart and you're successful professionally, right? That's what all of my clients are like. They're not dumb people. They're really, really smart. And they know exactly what they should be doing to lose weight and keep it off. But there are these unconscious patterns, these subconscious patterns that keep driving them to sabotage themselves. And that's why they want to work with me in the Inner Self Diet, to unravel that stuff, because you can't see what you can't see, and you don't know what you don't know. Even just becoming aware of whether or not you're a Last Supper eater, that's just about, and it's a good step to have the awareness, but it's an awareness of a behavior. And in order to release and heal that behavior, you have to go to the root of the problem, and the behavior isn't even really the problem. But it's still good to, become aware if you're a Last Supper eater, because if you're not even aware that that's what you're doing, then you're totally unaware. Okay? Is this making sense? Even just a little bit? Bottom line, always, 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 the fastest path to success is to work with a highly trained, highly skilled coach who has a proven track record of helping others before you break free of their food and weight struggles. The reason that it's so quick and why you can actually end your food and weight struggles that you've been struggling with a lifetime, why you can do it in 8 weeks or less, is because when you work with the right coach who has the proven system, all you have to do is plug yourself in, follow the instructions, do the steps that your coach gives you, and your coach will be, well, I can only speak for myself. I'm very courageous, and I am willing to give my clients the get real feedback that they want, because I can see what their blind spots are that they cannot see. And the reason they cannot see them is because they live in them. And that's the same for all people, all humans. That's why anybody who is highly successful, they get coaching, because they can't see their own blind spots either. That's why I get coaching too. Okay? Because we all have blind spots. And when you get coaching with the right coach to help you break free of those blind spots, then you're really cooking. And anyway, that's the work that I do with my awesome clients privately, personally, directly, intimately in the Inner Self Diet. And that's why they're able to break free so quickly. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's look at these 3 signs that you're a Last Supper eater, keeping in mind that all change is preceded by awareness, and you're not going to be able to change anything that you are blind to, that you're not aware of. And so a very tiny first step is to just become aware of your behaviors. And then there are deeper steps that, if you ever want to actually heal the behaviors and change them, you want to go beyond the behavior to the root of the problem and unravel that and heal that. And that requires two-way communication. That's the work I do with my coaching clients, and it's not something that you would be able to get to in a free weight loss podcast. This podcast, though, if it gives you even a paradigm shift, and it helps you see that there's a reason why you've been failing all these years by just taking the mainstream diet route that never is going to address the real problems, then if that's the only paradigm shift, the only awareness that you get out of my podcast, that's a huge thing. All right? Because there's a reason why 95% of dieters fail, because they're not addressing the real problems that are at the root of the issues. Okay, so 3 signs you're a Last Supper eater. First of all, the very glaring, obvious sign is that every Sunday, before you tell yourself that you're going to start that new diet on Monday morning, that Monday, that glorious Monday that comes 52 weeks every year, and you tell yourself, yeah, I'm really going to do it now. I'm just going to make myself, I'm going to use my willpower, I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to do this. And then you can look back at your history to see how that has worked for you. I haven't met anybody that has worked for. You really have to get a weight loss mindset. That's 92.8% of the challenge. And again, that is also what my coaching clients get when they heal their inner selves. They get all the tools to do all of this cool stuff. And if you just are beating your head against the wall, trying to force yourself to do this new diet each Monday, well, how has it worked for you? How long have you been able to stick with it? Okay. So Last Supper eating is what you do before you start that new diet or attempt to start that new diet on Monday. Last Supper eating goes down on Sunday night. For some people, they will do it all weekend. That's a 3-day food fest, binge fest, really. It's a binge fest of stuffing in as much food as possible before they start that new diet on Monday morning. So the clear, glaring, simple sign that you're a Last Supper eater is that you're binge eating on Sunday night and you're trying to eat as much food as possible, this forbidden food that you're afraid that you're never, ever, ever going to eat again once you start that new diet on Monday. Okay, so that's biggest sign right there. Second sign that you are a Last Supper eater is that you are completely focused and obsessed only on the foods that you're afraid that you're never going to eat again. And the problem, though, is that the list is so long, you can't even eat all of them on Sunday or even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can't eat all those foods because there are too many. You would actually bust a gut if you were to be able to do that. There are so many foods all throughout the year, all throughout the different seasons, so many foods that you get obsessed about that you feel like you're going to miss out on, and you try to stuff all of them in on Sunday night, and then, like I said, possibly you're doing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the way, how do I know this? I've done that before. Okay, I'm not somebody, this is one of the reasons I'm such an effective coach for my coaching clients, is because I'm not one of these people who was a gymnast when I was a kid and I've never had a weight problem. There are folks out there, there are ladies out there who they're teaching nutrition and teaching the food diets and the exercise programs, and they've never been overweight. So that's not me. I've been through these problems. I know what it's like to hate yourself and be so disgusted with yourself because you can't stop stuffing yourself. And I know what it's like to be on the other side also, where you have broken free, where you really can break free of this self-sabotaging, self-defeating cycle that you put yourself into. And all of this can be healed, but it won't be healed by only looking at the food, because the food is not the problem. The food has never been the problem. Your binge eating is not the problem either. These are just symptoms. Your binge eating and your overweight body are only symptoms of the bigger, deeper problems. And it's those bigger, deeper problems that are the key. You want to heal those so that then this whole structure topples over, because the foundation of the structure, it's those bigger, deeper problems. The bigger, deeper problems are what drive your binge eating. They drive your food obsessions. And the symptoms are the extra weight on your body, the extra fat on your butt, the extra fat on your stomach, the out of control eating, the food obsessions. Those are all of the symptoms of the bigger, deeper problems. All right. Is this making sense a little bit? Does it make a little bit of sense why you haven't been able to get to your goal weight and stay there all these years? Because the bigger, deeper foundational issues have not been addressed. Okay. All right. So number 2 sign that you're a Last Supper eater is that you get 100% obsessed with all of the foods that you're afraid that you're never going to eat again once you start that new diet on Monday. And number 3 sign that you're a Last Supper eater, you even stay up late on Sunday to stuff in as much food as you possibly can. You might even hide out in a dark corner of the kitchen after everybody in your family has gone to bed, and you're stuffing in as much food as you can to try to get it all in before this big, bold change that you try to make with yourself happens the next morning. Of course, components of this Last Supper eating, you probably feel a great deal of shame, embarrassment. That's why you're eating by yourself. Binge eating is not a behavior that is done in public for the most part. Most binge eaters, 99.9% of binge eaters, are hiding out, binging at home with the blinds shut. And they don't want other people to see them. In fact, a lot of binge eaters, in front of other people, they eat very little. And then they go into a private, dark, shame-filled corner to do their stuffing. It's very detrimental to your self-esteem, to your self-confidence, to your outlook on life. And you really got to go to the root of these behaviors and the root of these problems and unravel them and heal them. And this can all be done, but it's not going to be done by doing a food diet. Now, don't get me wrong. You do have to change how you eat and exercise to live a healthy lifestyle so that you do allow the fat to drop off your body and stay off. Okay, we all have common sense. You're not going to get to your goal weight by eating junk food and living an unhealthy lifestyle. Okay, that's not going to work. So your eating habits, yes, they do have to change. What you eat, that has to change. You've got to use portion control. You need to be eating only when you're physically hungry. But there is no binge eater out there who's eating for physical hunger, because that behavior is not about physical hunger. Last Supper eating is not about physical hunger. If you were to just stop the Last Supper eating and do nothing else, you would, over time, begin to lose weight. This Last Supper eating, especially when you're doing it 52 times a year, every Sunday, and you keep telling yourself that you're going to start this new thing each Monday morning, but maybe that lasts until Wednesday, it's very damaging, and the Last Supper eating just puts more and more weight on your body. And you know what? You don't need me to tell you this. Just look at your own results. Your results will never lie. You can lie to yourself 24 hours a day and tell yourself that, oh yeah, I'm going to lose weight. But look at your results. Your results will not lie. Hey, it's I love something that Dr. Now says on My 600-Pound Life. He says, the scale doesn't lie. People do. And he's right. He's totally right. There's a lot of self-denial, self-delusion. There's a lot of lying to the self that goes on in these self-destructive eating behaviors. And it's all, it all can be healed, but you've got to go to the root of the problem. And like I said, I've been there before. I have not had experience with all unhealthy eating behaviors or eating disorders. I have never been bulimic and never been anorexic. Those are even deeper problems, and oftentimes folks need to have psychological counseling for that. They need to go beyond coaching for something like that. But in the end, none of these problems are about the food. None of them are about the food. And they're not about your body weight either. There's always a deeper rooted problem, and these problems start when you're really young. I've never had a coaching client who these problems did not start when they were a teenager or 7 years old, 10 years old, whatever. In fact, you know what's really interesting? You can right now take a pen and a paper, pause this podcast until you get a pen and paper. And now that you have a pen and paper, write on that blank piece of paper your current age. All right. And then travel back in time. This will be really, really easy. Go back in time to your first memories of when you started doubting yourself, doubting your body, doubting your weight. Maybe you were overweight as a kid, or maybe you were like me. I was not overweight as a kid, but I thought I was fat. I started thinking I was fat, even though I wasn't. But that's where all of the problems started when I was only 7. I wasn't even overweight. But in the head, the mind leads the body. Always, always, always. The mind always leads the body. You can't do anything with a body if you don't have a mind that is working. So go back in time, find the age that you were when you first started having any kind of struggles with overeating, with body image, with doubting yourself, anything like that. Take that age, write it down on your paper underneath your current age, subtract the 2, do the math, pen on paper, and then circle the equation, the result. Circle the result, okay? And that number that you've circled, that's how old this problem is that you've been dealing with. So if it says 28 years, 32 years, 44 years, 50 years, however many years you have been dealing with this problem, that's how old this problem is. And that is why no food diet has ever fixed it for you. And the bottom line, another bottom line, I think I've used that phrase a couple times on this podcast today, but another bottom line fact is that if you don't heal and address the root problem, you will continue to struggle with this issue. Because it's like, have you ever had weeds in your garden or weeds in your lawn? And let's say that the weeds were in your lawn and you mowed the lawn or had somebody else mow the lawn and only the tops of the weeds were cut off. Okay, that's the same thing as trying to do another food diet, jumping on the newest diet bandwagon. The weeds are not gone. All you did was lop off the top because you didn't pull out the root. You have to pull out the root of the plant so that it can't grow back. And that's what happens. That's what my clients get to in the inner self diet. They learn how to pull the root of the issue out so that they don't keep growing more weeds and multiplying more weeds. And the weeds are the binge eating, the emotional eating, the self-doubts, the low self-confidence. That's all the weeds. You got to pull out the root of the problem so that you're not doing that anymore. Then you plant new seeds of new healthy grass, and the new healthy grass are your new healthy eating behaviors, your new healthy lifestyle. Is this making sense? Are you getting this? Just a little bit? Okay? All right, so I gave you 3 signs that you're a Last Supper eater. Hey, what do you get from looking at yourself and examining where you're at right now? Remember that all change is preceded by awareness. And becoming aware of where you're at now, it's not a process of beating yourself up. It's just about becoming aware of where you are so that then you can take your next step to move forward, depending on where you want to go next, of course. It's time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show. This week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is my free ebook. Get it now at www.easyfunweightloss.com, www.easyfunweightloss.com. In it, after you download it, when you go to www.easyfunweightloss.com, all you need to do is enter your first name, your best email address. If you don't enter your best email address, you won't get the download because the system that sends the download to you will recognize that you're not putting in a good email. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. So at www.easyfunweightloss.com, you need to enter your first name, enter your best email address, click the button, and then we will send you the download of my free ebook. And in it, you'll get 3 simple steps that you can start with to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. They are not food tips, they're not diet tips, they're not exercise tips. That part of the equation, you can get that anywhere, and that part of the equation is only 7.2% of achieving lasting success with your weight. If you really want to get to your goal weight and stay there, 92.8% of the challenge is going to be your mindset, and you've got to heal your inner self to get a weight loss mindset. So, start now with a very tiny, simple baby step by going to www.easyfunweightloss.com, download my free ebook, see what you can learn. All right, a couple questions to ask yourself. I highly recommend that you grab pen and paper. Hey, if you did the exercise that I gave you earlier, you've already got pen and paper. And what I recommend is that you write each question down that I give you, and then you write your answer down to each question, pen on paper. Why? Because there's a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart when you write pen on paper. You will not get that connection by typing on a keyboard. You will definitely not get that connection by only listening to me talk. Basically, listening to me talk is not going to do a whole lot for you. It'll go in one ear and out the other. It's just like Mr. Tony Robbins says, you cannot learn by only listening. And it's true, you know? So if you want to get the most out of this totally free weight loss podcast, and if you want to get out of your own head, instead of spinning in your head with the obsessions and the doubts and the worries and the fears, get out of your own head, put pen on paper. It helps you get centered. It helps you get focused. It helps you pay attention to yourself. And it's something that all highly successful people do. They use pen on paper. Yeah, imagine that. Actually, don't just imagine it. What if you do it for yourself? Okay? And then you can pause this podcast when you need more time. All right, so first question. How many signs do I fit that I'm a Last Supper eater? How many of the signs that JoLynn gave me do I fit that I'm a Last Supper eater? Right? So remember, the first obvious sign is that you binge eat on Sunday, even going into Sunday night. Second sign, you're obsessed with all of the foods that you're afraid you'll miss out on starting on Monday. Third sign, you even stay up late on Sunday after everybody else has gone to bed to stuff yourself with as much food as possible. Hey, here's a bonus sign. And I don't think I gave this to you before, but you're only focused on the food that you're afraid you'll miss out on. You're not focused on what you can stand to gain by changing your eating habits. You're not focused on feeling better about yourself, raising your self-esteem, raising your self-confidence. You're not focused on all of the healthy foods you can eat that will help you get to your ideal weight. You're only focused and obsessed with all of the foods that you're afraid you're going to miss out on. And this can depend on the time of year. There's never a good time to change your eating habits when you don't have a weight loss mindset. But when you have a weight loss mindset, every day is an easy day to live a healthy lifestyle because it's all driven by your mindset. Mindset is 92.8% of the challenge. So there's actually four signs that I gave you there. The fourth one is that all you're focused on is your fears, what you're afraid you're going to miss out on, food that you're afraid you're going to miss out on. It's all a negative focus. All right. So that question, the first question here, how many signs do I fit? And like I said, just pause the podcast to write these questions down and answer them for yourself. Okay. Second question. How many years have I been struggling with this overall food and weight topic? And you already did that equation earlier. So all you have to do is look at the number that you got on your paper. How many years have I been struggling with this overall food and weight problem, this whole topic? Number 3 question, is it making sense to me why I haven't been able to lose weight and keep it off up until now? Is it really making sense to me why I haven't been able to lose weight and keep it off up until now? And, you have to be honest answering these questions for yourself, of course. Number 4 question, If I really were to heal the root of my ongoing struggles to lose weight and keep it off, can I really see myself breaking free, getting to my goal weight and staying there? If I were to actually learn how to heal the root of my ongoing struggles to lose weight and keep it off, which means that my binge eating would be gone, my emotional eating would be gone, I'd be feeling fantastic about myself, I'd be living a healthy lifestyle without a problem. If I really were to learn how to heal the root of this stuff, can I see myself succeeding finally? And if your answer to this is no, then the next question is, why not? Why not? And maybe you'll uncover some limiting beliefs here for yourself. Okay, number 6 question, what's my next step? What is my next step? And the final question, number 7, who's my coach? Who is my coach in my corner? Who's my coach that believes in me? Who's my coach who is giving me the proven steps to heal the root of my ongoing food and weight struggles? Who's my coach that is helping me stay accountable and who can help me see my blind spots that I can't see because they're blind spots? Who's my coach who is believing in me and pulling for me to succeed? Who is that? And you could tack a final question on here, number 8. If you don't have a coach, why not? Why not? Everybody deserves coaching, but you have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe that you deserve investing in yourself to get coaching, because professional coaching is, of course, you're not going to ever find real good, honest to goodness, real life professional coaching. You're not going to get that for free. There's a time investment. There's a financial investment. There's a focus investment. There's a commitment investment. You have to really, really want to change this stuff that is dragging you down. And if you do, you can. You really, really can. There is no reason why you can't break free of your ongoing food and weight struggles. There's no reason why you can't stop binge eating, stop last supper eating, stop emotional eating, stop hating yourself, stop struggling. There's no reason. You just have to get the right tools, and the fastest way to accomplish this stuff is by working with the right coach. But, you got to believe in yourself. Doesn't really matter if anybody else believes in you, If you don't believe in yourself and if you don't believe you're worth it, then you'll keep struggling. And the good news about that is that it is your choice. It is your choice. And that's a good thing, because it means that since it's your choice to struggle, then it would be your choice to learn new ways. And the good news, the reason this is a good thing, that it's all your choice, is because what it means is that there is nobody and no thing outside of you that is stopping you, holding you down, holding you back. It's only you. And this is all good news because it puts the power in your court. If there were a little green man behind the curtain who was controlling you, then that would be a problem. But that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. Unless you are listening to my voice right now and you are sitting in a chair that is nailed to the floor and you are chained to this chair and you cannot move and somebody else is force feeding food into your mouth. All right. So if that's not your situation, then it's all your choice. And that is good news because you get to choose if you're going to learn how to break free of this stuff. Or, there are people that choose to keep struggling because they're comfortable there. It's their comfort zone and they like it. They prefer to struggle rather than breaking free because they're afraid that if they were to break free, then what would happen? Isn't that interesting? It's very, very interesting. But hey, everybody gets to make their own choices. So it's all cool. All right, so next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, that is going to be part 3 of this 3-part series on Last Supper eating. And this is actually my favorite podcast out of all 3. And the topic's going to be why there's never enough food to fill up a Last Supper eater. why there is never enough food to fill up a Last Supper eater. Remember, I have been through this stuff. It's not like I'm speaking to you from some holier than thou mountaintop where I've never had these problems. That's why I can speak about them. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm so good at coaching my clients out of these problems. Of course, I have the certifications, the training, all that good stuff that, helps me be kind of talented at what I do. At least that's what I've heard from my coaching clients, that I have some kind of a talent for what I do. But anyway, I'm excited about next week's topic, why there's never enough food to fill a Last Supper eater. That's going to be really cool. So make sure that you are tuned in and subscribed to my podcast, The JoLynn Braley Show. You can find The JoLynn Braley Show on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn. I think that there are other podcast outlets out there where you can also find The JoLynn Braley Show. So I know that even on your iPhone, you know that little purple icon that says podcasts? You can find The JoLynn Braley Show in there. Hey, I'd love it if you would subscribe for free to The JoLynn Braley Show on iTunes, rate the show, and review the show. Leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. Share what your biggest aha is that you've gotten from The JoLynn Braley Show. I would love to read that, and that's actually a way that you can tip the show virtually and is totally free. I would love that. That would be awesome, and you would be helping other people out there find this podcast. Who else out there is talking about the real problems, the real issues? Everyone else, it's all diet tips, food tips, and then there's people telling you to stay fat and just be happy. Yeah, I'm not in that camp, because I know that you can break free of these food and weight struggles, and you can get to your ideal weight and stay there and be happy. So I'm all for you getting to your ideal weight, feeling great about yourself, looking great in your jeans, and breaking free of these unhealthy eating behaviors, the unhealthy mindset behaviors, the unhealthy thought patterns, all that stuff. Oh, by the way, I didn't even tell you this. If you actually want help, if you actually want the fast path, the fast track to success, if you get it, that if it's making sense to you, that coaching is the fastest path to success because nobody can see their own blind spots. And if you'd love to stop asking yourself, hey, what is the problem here? Why am I so smart and successful professionally, but I'm still struggling with out of control eating and I can't even fit in my cute jeans? If you'd love to finally fix these problems, get it done as fast as possible, your first place to start is over at www.discovery-session.com, www.discovery-session.com. Go over there, enter your first name, your best email address, and then on the next page, there'll be an application for you to fill out. That's an application to get on a complimentary one-on-one weight loss discovery session with me to find out if or how I could help you personally, to find out if it would be a mutual fit for us to work together, for me to coach you through my proven steps of the Inner Self Diet so that you could end your food and weight struggles in 8 weeks or less. And you can start with that now at www.discovery-session.com. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the empowering Inner Self Diet, the diet that is not a diet, the diet that actually works. If you work it, you've got to do the steps. Just hearing me talk about it on this free weight loss podcast, this is not the Inner Self Diet. Just making sure that's clear, all right? And I wish you your best life in your ideal body.